But more than 60% of young people between the ages of 13 and 19 aren't receiving mental health treatment that they most likely need. That's according to Remind, a nonprofit that works to offer support to those young people who need that help. And the statistics indicate that there are potentially many who need it. Suicide, the 11th leading cause of death in Texas. It's the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 through 34. And on average, one person dies by suicide in Texas every 2 hours. Remind is the name of the nonprofit that works to offer free support to the many kids who apparently need help. Jasmine McGarry is a licensed counselor and program director at Remind. Ernestine Pena-Sandoval is an advocate for the organization. Thank you both for being here. Let's talk about the organization first. Jasmine, those numbers I looked at were eye-opening about suicide and the ways that it impacts this community. Talk about the ways that your organization, I understand, collaborates with school systems to try to get help for students and kids who might need it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the World Health Organization actually promotes mental health services being at the school level because we have a captive audience and we're able to incorporate the education and awareness needed for mental health services right there on the campus. Remind offers free confidential support groups that happen on a weekly basis for schools who are in need of our services. Again, they're absolutely free of charge and a very valuable resource.
So when you talk about having it there, I know that your website talks about depression and bipolar disorders.
Yes.
Is that one of the triggers for the kinds of things that lead people to suicide? And how do you recognize that in kids?
Absolutely. Suicide is a symptom of depression, right? So we want to treat any of the signs and symptoms that come about. So you don't have to have a diagnosis to be a part of our peer support groups, just signs and symptoms. In the community, outside of schools, the support groups are actually open to family and friends who are looking to get education surrounding mental health. So in schools, we're able to work with the students outside of the schools for any caregivers, any parents, anyone who's providing any sort of care for the students are able to attend our free adult support groups in the community.
Well, that is great to have all of those services out there because people, now we're starting to see more information about what's happening and now you're offering those services free, which I know it's got to be kind of challenging to do that, and that's why Ernestine is here. Ernie, you've been working as an advocate for this organization. Talk about the efforts to raise money that's much needed to make sure that we can offer that you can offer those services for free.
Well, thank you, Cambrell, for having us in KPRC, because unless you talk about it, your actions are not going to help anyone. You do need to have the conversation, and we're able to raise funds through major donors, private donors, major corporations. We're getting ready to have our Circle of Life wonderful luncheon that we have annually. It'll be at River Oaks. If you want to help, please get on to our website and sign up, purchase a table, or join a friend and come to the event. Your ability to help the organization and help our community with mental health issues is vital, because as we've learned through this pandemic and as we've learned through our country, it takes a village to raise a child healthy. And if you already have the ability to have time is money. If you want to donate your time, please recognize that everyone is an advocate for mental health.
So I'm going to put the information up on the screen, and as I do that, Jasmine, what should you look for as a sign of depression in your child?
You know, so for parents, caregivers, loved ones, any sort of drastic changes, of course, are going to be indicators that some additional support might be needed. I always suggest consulting with professionals. Coming to our groups are a great first step because we have licensed clinicians who staff and facilitate our support groups. So we're a little bit different from some of the other services out there in that way.
And so we're going to put that information about Remind on the Houston Newsmakers page on clicktohouston.com. You can go to that page, get the information about that and the event coming up in September. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Cambrell.
Thank you so much.